What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank here in the beautiful countryside of Moruga, Trinidad and Tobago. It's a beautiful, quiet, peaceful morning, and I'm gonna bring you a video that I thought of as I was relaxing. As I was relaxing in this beautiful, beautiful country around beautiful, beautiful black people. You know, these people, these African people that live here in Trinidad and Tobago, they are mostly descendant of the Yoruba, if you didn't know, right? So I'm still in Yoruba land, y'all. I'm still in Yoruba land, all the way in Trinidad. But what I want to talk to you about is I saw this 12-hour live stream from Bumani in Cali Genesis. Now, keep in mind, I didn't watch 12 hours. That's insane. That's a long period of time, man. That's like a shift, and that's like shift and a half right there, man. Bumani was putting in work, right? But they did a review on my video when I was basically talking about Pan-Africanism and reparations. And I just want to say a few things about it, right? Because I find this to be a situation every time somebody does a review of my videos, right, without actually watching it first before you do a review. And I don't recommend anybody who do lives to actually, if you're gonna criticize what I say, I recommend you actually watch the video before you do a live stream and critique the video. Because what happens is, the way I speak, because I'm a communicator, right? I excel in communication. So if my video is 30 minutes, it may take 30 minutes for me to get my entire point across. I like to put details, nuance, context. I layer it, right? It's like an 8-course meal, right? Some people, in the age of information, some people in society has conditioned us to have such a short attention span, and sometimes we want to jump on stories because our feelings get involved in it, and we just want to jump on it. And when we do that, sometimes we make ourselves look like fools, right? Because your interpretation or your critique of maybe something I said was a little bit too early because you didn't hear everything I said, right? And I noticed that Cali Genesis, it seemed like he was listening to react instead of listening to what I was saying. Because if he was truly listening, he would have heard that I'm pretty consistent, and a lot of the stuff that he says that he would want, you know, as a black nationalist, I pretty much said it all in the video, right? But instead of giving in to our similar way of thinking, his ego, right, and his aptitude for just hating on people for some odd reason, that thing got in the way of the overall message that I was giving, right? And it was he's more interested in shitting on FBA, and because he didn't listen, he didn't hear me talk about the non-xenophobic FBA. You have to distinguish between the FBA people who watch Tariq Nasheed religiously and they believe all the dumb stuff Tariq Nasheed said. Now, Tariq Nasheed shouldn't be taken seriously. So anybody talking about Tariq Nasheed, they're literally staring at the ground, right, continuously, and they don't look up and see what's going on in the world, right? That's why you don't see me talking about Tariq. He's not relevant in anything. He's a C-list actor. He's not even a C-lister. The dude, the only reason he's relevant is because social media has brought the celebrity down the size to the regular folk, right? And some of these C-listers and Z-listers have used social media to revamp their careers or to revamp something they wish they had, right? Tariq Nasheed is an example of that. He's never really been famous, but before social media, he's kind of, you know, made a little name for himself. You know, good on him, right? He entertains people and people like him, and they want to support him, the things that he do. Go right ahead. If they're stupid enough to fall for it, let them do it, right? But people who call themselves Pan-Africans and black nationalists, they spend a lot of time trying to fight and be negative towards other groups, right? Instead of actually talking about what it is that we need to do as a group of people. Now, he said that I was straddling the line, and I just don't understand that concept, because I watched it. I said, let me see what they're watching and how they respond, how they react to what I'm saying. And I was like, damn, you didn't even, if you would have kept press and play, you would see that you were wrong, right? So all of them was completely wrong about the analysts about my video, because they actually agree with me, but they didn't want to agree with me because the egos was in the way, or because their combativeness towards other groups who don't believe and think the way they think is in the way. Now, Bumani, when it comes to reparations, Bumani himself is not really a part of the conversations. He's Jamaican. He did serve his country like I know a lot of people. I'm with my boy from Trinidad. He was from Trinidad. He served his country too. With me, United States Marine Corps. That's why I'm here. That's my boy, all right? And he got his citizenship in the United States Marine Corps. Maybe Bomani got the same thing. But in this conversation, Bomani, really, you don't take what he got to say seriously, because reparations, as far as America, has to do with Americans. It doesn't have to do with Jamaicans. He should be supporting that. Because if it wasn't for people like me, and it wasn't for people like my Trinidad boy, and it wasn't for those Caribbeans who came over here from Jamaica in the past to fight with our brothers and sisters, if it wasn't for the sacrifices of African Americans, he wouldn't even have the opportunity to come over here and enjoy the things that he enjoyed in America, to leverage himself to go to Africa. His entire Africa experience, everything he does in Africa, is because he was given the opportunity to do that thanks to African Americans. So he need to put a little bit more respect on African Americans' name, and don't just dismiss the fact that African Americans want reparations. That's something we owe and we want it, right? And before he judges, and I think Nakmeezy makes a very good point. He's very judgmental on the sentiment of how African Americans should to focus their energy on, but I don't hear him talking about Jamaica, right? Jamaica has a lot of issues. I don't hear him talking about Jamaica. If he were to talk about Jamaica, that would make him consistent. That would make him even across the board. But we know there's a lot of things going on in Jamaica that he doesn't cover as a Jamaican, right? So I'll say to Bomani, give the same energy to Jamaica, and don't disrespect black people and tell black people that we're not priority. We don't, that because certain black people want to focus on reparations, that they're misguided. All right, we shouldn't do that, right? Also, we should not stop seeking the things that is owed to us, period. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Now, for Bomani, I think Bomani, his whole thing is he thinks all African people should just 100% focus on going to West Africa, right? F everything else, focus on West Africa. Just focus on it. Don't try, everything is a waste of time. Focus on West Africa. And I would say to Bomani that that's about as realistic as African Americans getting cash payouts for reparations. That's not how the world works. And that's what I'm saying. First, we have to live in the real world. The real world. You're not going to have 45 million people up and exit to Africa. There's no way 45 million people are going to get up and leave and go to Africa. We are here. We are where we are. Are you telling all the Caribbeans, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, they need to get up and go to Africa? You saying everybody in Jamaica need to get up and go to Africa? Everybody. You talking about 45 million Americans. You talking about 100 million South Americans, another 55 million Caribbeans, give or take. You saying all 200 million of us, all hundreds and something million, we all need to just get up and just go to Africa and leave the rest of the world to everybody else? No. This world is getting smaller. The world is getting smaller and smaller. All right? People move around. That's natural, okay? In the real world. It's not practical to say everybody's gonna get up and go. Everybody don't have money to get up and go. Everybody didn't have the opportunity to come from Jamaica, Bomani, and join the military, get all them good government benefits that African Americans fought, died, and bled for, so that you can come over here and participate in, so that you can become a Pan-African and go to Africa. Everybody don't got it like that, Bomani. People work day to day. People are struggling in the places that they are. And people on the continent also struggling. It's not practical. So the way that they think over there in the Bomani and Kylie Genesis Pan-African for nationalism is not practical, right? And that's why I think, I say Bomani, he's a Pan-African, but he's somewhat of a misguided Pan-African. Kylie Genesis, I think his way of thinking is outdated, and I think he's too argumentative. I told him before, I don't believe he has what it takes to be a leader when it comes to the Pan-Africanists, because his focus is on fighting against other people. If you're a Pan-African, you got to have a unifying message. How are you going to get people to galvanize towards your cause if you're always putting out negative and divisive energy? I'm a Pan-African, meaning my job is to be like glue and connect everybody, and to try to convince and coerce other people who I believe are maybe guided the wrong direction or focus on the wrong thing to take a look at Pan-Africanism. You're not going to shame people into being a Pan-African. You're not going to shame people into taking Africa as a place to live in the future in consideration. You're not going to talk shit into unification. You're not going to create a nation with the energy of divisiveness, and that's the issue that they have over there. And if Bomani knew any better, he wouldn't run his show the way he runs it. He would, because it doesn't create an environment which people want to, well, no, not Bomani himself, because it's Cali Genesis is the issue. I don't know why he got that guy on there, because I believe, my opinion, Cali Genesis slows him down. Because when people see Cali Genesis and they know he's very divisive and all he wants to do is fight, they're gonna associate him with Bomani. You know, so Bomani need to work on his on who he associates himself with, right? You got people like Pan-African Strikes Back. Is Pan-African Strike Back, is he a unifying force? He calls himself a Pan-African, but he's a right-wing Christian conservative Cunarian, right? He's not a real Pan-African. So in order to be a real Pan-African and to be a leader, you're gonna have to have a unifying message, meaning you're gonna have to create an environment in which somebody who don't quite agree with you, right, who may have an opposing view on you, to make a situation where they feel like they can step in and take what you got to say, you know, into consideration. I've won plenty of people over who initially didn't like me, right, because they associated me with the rest of you guys. You understand? I have to make sure that I have to do extra to disassociate myself with the rest of you Pan-Africans and pro-blacks who are so divisive and so negative that anytime they hear the word Pan-African, they think of you guys and they bunch me up with you guys. And I got to argue with these people on the internet, you know, and then so when I try to do my unifying message, right, I got people like Cali Genesis saying that I'm trying to straddle the fence. You understand? I'm not straddling the fence. I'm being a Pan-African. I'm pulling people. I'm convincing people. I'm using my charisma that I do have. I'm using my ability to speak to try to get people to take Pan-Africanism into consideration, right? You can't beat people into submission all the time. Sometimes you gotta massage it. You know, you gotta massage it. You know. And another thing, you guys who are critiquing people like myself, you gotta listen to what I'm saying, because I'm a full-throated conversationalist. All right, I cover all my bases when I'm talking, right? And a lot of people be putting their foot in their asses when they talk about my videos, and I notice it because I'll read the comment section and people will call it out. You're putting your foot in your ass, right? And Cali Genesis, right? When you're talking to people like Nak Meezy, the reason why Nak Meezy got to come on there because you disrespecting African Americans. You can't be a Pan-African and disrespect African Americans. That's impossible. It's impossible. You, Cali Genesis, you're an African American. Yet you want to disrespect African Americans, right? And you think by you disrespecting African Americans and our leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King, which you can't even fit his shoes, man. I can't fit his shoes. You can't fit his shoes, but you feel like to be a contrarian, maybe you think he's going to give you some sort of, you know, put you on some sort of pedestal that you can critique somebody who you can't fit their shoes. He was a man of his time, right? He did what he could for what he knew, right? Was he perfect? No, but are you perfect? Am I perfect? Absolutely not, right? And that's another problem we have. People don't want to step up because got people like Cali Genesis that want to judge and belittle the people that sacrifice their lives for us. If it wasn't for people like Dr. Martin Luther King, you, Cali Genesis, and Bomani wouldn't even be on this platform being able to say the things that you say. You got to understand that. So to disrespect the ancestors is very anti-African, very anti-Pan-African, right? That's why I be saying the things that I say, right? Okay, so yeah, you guys gotta listen to what people are saying, and you gotta you know, understand that your opinion is not the only opinion, right? Your thought process is not the only thought process. And I ain't gonna lie, when I first came out, I was on the train to talking trash about, you know, Tariq Nasheed and stuff, you know, because I felt like at the moment it needed it, and it did, and I was right. And when I critiqued Tariq Nasheed, it wasn't cracking jokes, personal jokes. I was talking about real issues. But then after I thought there was enough was said, you move on, right? Like Pan-African Strike Back, all his videos about Tariq Nasheed. He has 10,000 subscribers, right? But all those 10,000 subscribers are Tariq Nasheed subscribers who wanted to know who Bucci Bear was. They're not 10,000 subscribers who respect him and see his Pan-African movement. They're 10,000 subscribers who want to know who Bucci Bear was. You know, I don't want those type of subscribers. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for, right? And Cali Genesis, you know, people like to watch him to see who he gonna argue with. You understand? You know, people only look at Cali Genesis to see who is he gonna argue with. If somebody can come, is he gonna cut somebody out today? Right? What kind of drama they gonna talk about today? Who they gonna shit on today? How is that Pan-Africanism? How is that promoting black nationalism? How is that galvanizing and motivating people to do anything? In order to get people to move, to convince people to move, to do things that you want them to do, to coerce them to hear and operate under your message, you have to get them on your side, right? That means you have to provoke a certain emotional response in them, and that emotional response needs to be positive. I got people who don't even F with Pan-Africanism, but they F with me. You understand? Why? Because I know how to carry myself. I would never disrespect African Americans. Do you know who African Americans are? Do you understand how powerful and influential and significant African Americans are? Why would you ever disrespect us? It's so easy. We got so many people shitting on us that for our entire existence, we've been denied the accolades and honors that we're owed, right? Well, we are literally the superheroes of this goddamn planet. African Americans are the superheroes of this goddamn planet. We are at the forefront of this damn movement. And to be disrespected by another African American is ridiculous. I don't expect Bomani and that weirdo Nigerian dude that came on the show talking shit to Nakmeezy. See, there's another thing. That dude didn't know who he was talking to. He was threatening you, allowing these unknowledgeable, idiotic people on your platform so you can get views, you can have a shock value. You're allowing these idiots to speak their ignorance, not knowing that he was talking to a damn mixed martial arts fighter who could easily whoop his ass. He did have girl shoulders, all right? Nakmeezy said he did have girl shoulders. You could tell this dude was on the spectrum, but you allow people on your platform, right, that downgrade your platform, right? That's why y'all don't grow the way y'all feel like you should grow, because there are people who come into your videos, they see shit like that, and they say, these guys not serious. These guys not serious. When you see idiots like that, coming on the show threatening people, threatening America. You got a person who's a second generation Nigerian who's only able to use that internet, only able to talk his shit because it was an African American that paved the way in blood so that he can do that, right? So to have a panel full of foreigners, right, or American citizens who benefit, who are, second generation or whatever, who benefit from African Americans, to have a panel full of them, with their bravado disrespecting African Americans on a regular basis, with an African American who's the most antagonistic person on the whole group joining in the party, that's not Pan-African at all. It doesn't look like Pan-African. Doesn't smell like Pan-Africanism. There's nothing Pan-Africanism about that. And that's what y'all need to understand. That's why I call myself a real Pan-African, because I need to distinguish myself. Excuse me, I'm hoarse because I've been partying. I need to distinguish myself from you guys, because I do not believe that you guys are representing Pan-Africanism in its best foot, And if you want to be a leader, you guys are not leading the way you should be leading. Your message should be unifying. Anybody should be able to watch your video. You should be able to say what you want to say, right? Have your strong opinions about whatever. But even though people who disagree with you, they should be able to leave and be like, you know what? He was all right. That dude was cool. He said some stuff I agree with. Because once you start arguing with somebody, guess what? The conversation's over. So what's the point of having these 9, 8, 10-hour lives? Who's listening to you? Who's paying attention to you? Because the people you want to come have already tuned you out, and they already disagree with you. They done moved on to something else. So time is being wasted. The time and energy you guys are utilizing, and a lot of other so-called self-proclaimed Pan-Africans are utilizing, is really a bunch of time wasted. And I happen to know YouTube's not paying you guys a lot of money. YouTube doesn't pay a lot of money. And the longer we go, YouTube's going to pay us less money. So the motivation for you to do this is either to sell tours, right, or or get cash apps, or what, right? And that's why y'all ask for cash apps. That's why y'all ask for support, because y'all know that YouTube ain't paying you. This is not a place to get rich, right? So you got to kind of get your priorities in order, what it is you do, right? And that's why I used to go live, but then I realized when I go live, it allows people who should never have a voice to have a voice. It allows people who don't put the work in when it comes to building an audience to be able to say what they want to say to thousands of people and to be immortalized. Like Cali Genesis. Cali Genesis, you have a YouTube page. Why don't you go on your own YouTube page, make your own content, and build your personal brand instead of bouncing on other people's stuff? That way you have more credibility when you talk, right? Because right now the perception is, you're a guy who argues with people on the internet at night for 8 hours at a time until you get tired and go to sleep. All right. Bomani, you're a Pan-African, so, and then but Bomani, you need to do a better job at curating your audience, right? Same thing goes with Dynus. Dynus let all sorts of idiots come on there, right? And say retarded things. And Dinas also says a bunch of retarded things, which he displays his ignorance when it comes to politics. He displays his ignorance outside of being a good salesperson. Outside of a good salesperson, he shows how unknowledgeable he is, right? And there are people who see that. And when they see that, they say, that's Pan-Africanism. And then everybody's lumped up in the same group, right? So y'all need to step y'all game up. It's 2024. If you really want some movement, if you really want some shit to go down, get rid of your ego, right? Pay attention to the people that you review before you put your foot in your ass. Pay attention to the videos that you watch and critique live. And don't judge so quickly, because like I say, most people who judge my videos, all they're doing is putting their foot in their ass, right, for the whole world to see, right? But I do like it. I do encourage you. You can review any of my videos, because what's gonna happen is after y'all put your foot in your ass, people are gonna go see my video. They're gonna watch the whole thing. Then they're gonna understand what it is I'm saying. Good day, sir. Good day. You see, I always stop and talk to people, even if I'm doing videos, because that's what black people are supposed to do. You greet people. Outside of America, you actually greet people when you walk by. That builds positivity in community. Just wanted to throw that out there. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to say, hey, if you're gonna be a Pan-African, you need to start building your unifying Pan-African force. People need to see a positive vibe around you. If you don't create that positive energy, right? You know how people say you live by the sword, die by the sword? Well, if you live dangerously, right? If you live in an adversary way, that's how you're gonna die. All right. If you live with the gun, right? If you constantly live with a gun and you don't know how to hang it up, that's how you're gonna die. Right? I had to put the gun down because I didn't want to die by the gun. All right, because I used to live by the gun professionally. But I said, you know what? I don't want to die by the gun. Right? This ain't the movies. You don't get to come back at the end. All right. So I put it down because I know. All right. And the rest of you guys need to understand. If you want positivity, right? Because first of all, you never know who knows you. Do you know I came down here, went to a small ghetto part of Trinidad, and somebody knew who I was. They was like, that's that dude off YouTube, afrothinktank. All right? All the way in Trinidad, they know who I am. All right? You never know who knows you. Remember, you don't know the people that know you. All right? And that's the third time. And then when I was at the FET, people knew who I was. They come up to me, hey man, da 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 da. Right? You don't know who's looking at you. All right? So if you got a negative message, it may be somebody that don't like you, and then they recognize you. And guess what? They're gonna do something about it. Because you know there are people out here who are unhinged, completely and totally unhinged, right? But if you got a unifying message and you positive, right? When people see you, they're gonna want to come and talk to you and greet you, right? They're gonna want to do that, and that's what you want. You're not invincible, all right? You gotta remember, you're standing out here, and you're squishy and soft. And any hard, sharp object can end everything at any time. So it's best to have a unifying message and a positive vibe around you, so that, you know, maybe, just maybe, there's somebody who knows you and you don't know them, and instead of trying to shank you, instead of trying to hurt you and harm you for some stuff you done said, some xenophobic, hateful, insensitive thing that you said that actually hurt their feelings in real life, instead of them wanting to do something about it, they're gonna want to come shake your hand. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, hey, it's the age of information, and ignorance is no longer acceptable. You're no longer gonna get a pass. All right, you're no longer getting a pass. As you get older, absorb information. Before you critique somebody's video, watch it, because I see a lot of people doing videos on people don't know what they're talking about, sounding about as dumb, stupid, ignorant, and unknowledgeable as humanly possible, making themselves look like clowns, and making the movement of Pan-Africanism look bad. Right? So for the sake of real, authentic Pan-Africanism, the ideology, the sentiment in the movement, I'm imploring you guys to step your games up, because if you don't, you're gonna go to the wayside. You understand? You're gonna disappear. All right? I'm gonna be here. You guys are gonna disappear. All right? All right, anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.